watching Twin Tiers Evening News with Jeff Androlonis and Alexa Olson. Now, from the Twin Tiers' biggest broadcast news operation, WVTT proudly presents Twin Tiers Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Alexa Olson.
And I'm Jeff Androlonis. Good evening. The big story tonight on Twin Tiers Evening News. It's now in the hands of Governor Andrew Cuomo, who's all but certain to sign the nation's toughest gun control legislation. The New York State Assembly this afternoon passed the bill that was approved last night by the New York State Senate. With more on the story, let's go to Alexa Olson.
Well, Jeff, this gun control debate is definitely firing people up in the Twin Tiers. Let's go live to the WVTT digital newsroom where WVTT's Valerie Tysander is standing by with the latest. Valerie.
Alexa, as Jeff said, around 5 o'clock, the State Assembly also passed what the State Senate passed last night. New York Safe, Governor Cuomo's new bill, and what he says is now the strictest gun control law in the nation. And a lot of Western New Yorkers aren't very happy about it.
No one needs 10 bullets to kill a deer.
Just days after Governor Cuomo's fiery State of the State address calling for new measures for gun control, the State Senate passed New York Safe. New York's Democrat-held assembly took up Cuomo's bill early this morning. The bill cracks down on assault weapons. It bans high-capacity magazines, outlaws sales of assault weapons, and requires reports of mental illness. A provision was also added, the Webster provision, specifically to address the Christmas Eve shooting where 2 firefighters were killed while fighting a fire. Any assault like that shooting is now punishable by life without parole. But there is some pushback locally. McKean County Sheriff Brad Mason says he doesn't agree with taking guns from law-abiding citizens, and he says even if he was directed to do so by the government, he wouldn't.
Here are some of the new provisions the new gun law would touch on. There will be a ban on high-capacity magazines. Now clips will be limited to 7 rounds, and there will also be an immediate ban on all assault rifles or any rifle that has one military-style feature. Assault rifle owners now need to register their guns. Residents who legally own their guns will need to re-register them every 5 years. Mental health professionals will need to report any patients that they consider to be a risk to law enforcement, and if those people own a gun, that will have to be removed from their possession. There will now be universal background checks on all gun sales and ammunition sales, and the bill also includes what politicians are calling the Webster provision, which now makes shooting at first responders a felony punishable with life imprisonment. And we did speak with a lot of other Western New Yorkers that there was technical problems, and so the video is not available, but they all did say they felt that the new bill does directly violate the Second Amendment rights. Some politicians are saying that Governor Cuomo did this because it's good politics and he's potentially considering a bid for the presidency in 2016. In the WVTT Digital Newsroom, I'm Valerie Tysander. Alexa, back to you.
Thanks, Valerie. Now, to see the full text of the bill, you can visit our website, twintiersnews.com. Jeff.
Gun control conversation was last night in McKean County, where Sheriff Brad Mason addressed a meeting of the McKean County Tea Party. It was held at the Bradford Senior Center last night. Sheriff Mason says he doesn't agree with taking guns away from law-abiding citizens, and he wouldn't do it even if told to by the federal government. Mason is seeking re-election to the post of sheriff in McKean County.
A preliminary hearing scheduled for today for accused murderer Gregory Eldred has been postponed. Eldred is charged with the murder of his ex-wife, Darlene Sittler. The hearing postponed at the request of Eldred's attorney. Sittler was shot and killed while she played the organ at a church in Countersport. You can see this file footage here on your screen. Police say church members wrestled the gunman to the ground until police arrived. Eldred was arrested and jailed. Eldred was the music teacher at Countersport Elementary School.
47 states are now heavily affected by the flu epidemic, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The Twin Tiers straddles 2 states hit especially hard. So we spoke with the Upper Allegheny Health System, the company that owns Bradford Regional Medical Center and Olean General Hospital. Dr. William Mills tells WVTT hospitals aren't turning people away, but they are prepared for a worst-case scenario and an influx of patients.
All the cases we've had are positive for flu A, but we're not testing everybody because, interestingly, there was a shortage of flu testing kits kind of nationwide. So we don't know how many actually folks had the flu. If you came in now with fever, cough, aching, feeling miserable, we're going to say, you probably have the flu, and without testing it. So yes, our confirmed cases have been like 60, I think 68 was the number I saw yesterday. We're tracking it every day. We've only had 4 admissions since December that are flu related, in terms of it. So we're not getting a lot of people into the hospital.
Now, Dr. Mills says he's passionate about flu shots because he says those shots can help you prevent influenza.
Olean officials tonight have ruled the incident in which a woman fell to her death over the weekend as an accident. Police say they've ruled out foul play in the death of 25-year-old Brittany Malone. They say it's difficult to say what caused her to fall out of her 3rd-story apartment window.
The future of the vacant Dow Tile plant is still uncertain tonight. That plant closed December 12th. It was the workplace for nearly 200 people. Olean City Assessor Nancy Champlain tells WVTT the facility is valued at $1.94 million. The executive director of the Cattaraugus Industrial Development Agency, Corey Wichter, said the property should go on the market. The IDA is prepared to help find a new owner and work with state authorities to put together an incentive package, such as low-cost electricity and tax breaks for potential buyers.
A Bradford woman suffered minor injuries Monday morning in a theft of prescription medication. Police say they don't believe this is a random act of violence, and they are currently looking for a suspect. The woman received several stitches for a wound on her arm.
In McKean County, Kane residents gave borough council members an earful last night. One Kane resident says the mayor and the council members aren't doing a good enough job of providing direction for the borough police department. Another is suggesting that the mayor and council president resign. Most complainants feel the council has been ignoring borough laws, specifically code enforcement and snow removal issues.
Bradford Township officials are reinstating their recycling program. The township has removed recycling dumpsters from the parking lot across from the township last month. Casella Waste Systems will empty the dumpsters twice a week as opposed to weekly, which should alleviate the overfilling and littering problems that were occurring previously.
The so-called pizza bomber has lost her Supreme Court appeal and will stay in prison. Back in 2003, pizza delivery man Brian Wells was killed when a collar bomb locked around his neck exploded after police believe he was told to rob a PNC bank branch in Erie, Pennsylvania. Marjorie Deal Armstrong, there's her picture on your screen. She was convicted of conspiracy and other charges for her involvement. She received a 30-year prison sentence in 2011. Supreme Court justices today, without comment, turned aside claims from Deal Armstrong that she wasn't guilty and mentally incompetent to stand trial. Deal Armstrong was convicted on 3 charges, including conspiracy to commit armed bank robbery back in November 2010.
Flames forced a Buffalo family of 8 from their home last night. Fire officials say there's about $90,000 worth of damage to the house on Hennepin Street. The cause of the fire has yet to be identified.
2 businessmen making their arguments about a new downtown stadium for the Bills today. Instead of spending nearly $250 million to maintain Ralph Wilson Stadium, the 2 want to spend $1.4 billion to build a harbor complex, creating 15,000 jobs, including a 72,000-seat stadium, doubling as a convention center, and complete with a retractable roof. Meeting was held at noontime today in the Erie County Legislative Chambers.
And an HIV scare has broken out in Buffalo due to the reuse of insulin pens. Now, according to officials, more than 700 patients admitted to the Veterans Affairs Western New York healthcare systems within the past 2 years may have been exposed to HIV, hepatitis B, and hepatitis C. A review has shown that the insulin pens intended for single persons may have been used on multiple people. Experts say that the insulin inside the pen could have been contaminated by a backflow of blood, even if the needle was changed after every use.
Coming up on Twin Tiers Evening News, our first look at weather. Also coming up, the Global News Update and our Wall Street Wrap-Up Report. Stick around. This is Twin Tiers Evening News on News Channel 25 WVTT.